I just think so many people would be married by now if they just got rid of that darn list that they have. Because guess what? You're not going to always be a size 0. You're not always going to be perfect. Your skin is not going to always be flawless. Your hair is not going to always be flawless. Your breath is not always going to smell good. You're not going to always be on your best behavior. You have to be with someone that you feel secure with when you're in your worst moments. A majority of married couples say that they did not feel any chemistry or have instant spark or connection with their spouse when they first met or started dating. They actually are less likely to divorce than the couples who felt an initial chemistry spark and then got married. Those couples are more likely to divorce. A survey done by couple.net, a majority of married couples did not think that their spouse was their type when they first met or when they started dating. There's billions of people out in this world and not one person is good enough for what you desire and on your so-called list, then maybe that list is ungodly. Don't let your type keep you from getting married. Don't let your unrealistic expectations and standards stop you from being married. We have to reject modern times of marriage and all that stuff because it doesn't work. So many women that are lonely and single, not because they can't get married, not because there aren't good men, you're just not looking at the good man because he doesn't come in the package that you want. Hi wives, hi future wives, how are you? Thank you so much for coming to my channel again. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, or maybe not again if this is your first time. God bless you. All my links to this channel are down below. Everything you need. I have the free wife mindset guide. It is very quick. You can finish it in like 3 minutes. It's not long at all. But it's going to teach you about the mindset you need to have to be an effective wife, not just a wife, but an effective wife. For a wife, it's not just a woman married under the law. She is a mindset. Get the link below. It is e-guide, and I think it will help you. Also, Marriages for Black Women 2 is out. That's an ebook as well that I wrote about why Black women are not getting married. How once we were the most married demographic of women in America, and now we are the least. What happened? How do we fix this? That is also below as well. I have some exciting things coming for you and I will update you. So join my mailing list so you don't miss a video or any kind of new information about this channel or what I have going on. I hope you are blessed. I hope you are doing well. So today I want to just talk about this T-Pain video, Club Husband. First of all, T-Pain is like he's got a second wind of his career going on. He was really hot and popping in the mid 2010s, and he had lots of legendary songs. I remember being in high school and his songs were popping at that time. And I think he's on tour doing a greatest hits tour. I know he does gaming and he has other entrepreneurial things that he does. So he's still writing and doing music. He's getting back to that at least. And he's also been married to the same woman for 20 years. So can we clap it up for that? That's the thing that I love. And I love that he shows that and he seems to be happy that he's married. I don't follow T-Pain. I just saw this on my For You page. I was on Instagram and I saw somebody talk about how he finally posted the video. And so I was like, okay, what is this? I didn't even really look into it, and then today it came up on my YouTube page, and so I clicked and looked, and it was a good time. He wrote, directed, produced, put the video together, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny, I thought it was cute, and it was just different, just something fun in this world of everything has to be so crazy or so political or so serious. It was just something fun. But I did take a lesson out of it, a simple lesson that I hope will help you ladies who want to be married, who believe God has called you to marriage. I want to tell you that the whole thing that I took from the video is that don't be pigeonholed to a type. And I put this on my community page a few weeks ago about how we have to get out of, especially as grown women, okay? When you are a little girl dreaming about Prince Charming, when you are in your teenage years fangirling over, whatever singer or actor is out there that you love, when you're young, that's when you can have a type, quote unquote, right? And usually a type never really has to do with character. Let's be real. A lot of times when women say they have a type, it's not about their character, a man's character. It's usually about how much money a man makes, how he looks physically, if he's tall, if he's short, if he's handsome, if he's, got long hair, short hair, whatever the case, how he speaks. Like, it's mostly when people say type is physical traits. And unfortunately, sometimes a lot of women's type is like held down to a type. It's stopping a lot of women from experiencing marriage, and it's stopping them from getting married earlier too. I think a lot more women would be married by now if they weren't so hold tight to a list. I mentioned this before, but Chili from TLC, she is in a long-term relationship with one of the Matthew brothers from Brotherly Love. Back in the day, they had a show. She's in a long-term relationship, but she's not married, okay? I don't think she's ever been married, and I know she's religious. And I do remember back in the day, she used to have a dating show. And in that dating show, she would go viral. It'd be a big deal because she was trying to find love. But she had this big, long, exhaustive expectation list of the type of man she would not date and that she wants to be with. And no man, I remember so many people talking to her like, you need to loosen up the list. It's dumb stuff. It's stuff that is not going to matter in the long run. Like, it just, I don't know, but it was no room for like growth or like, no room to maneuver and give someone a chance. It was just like, this is what I want. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. Well, guess what? She never got it because she never got married. And I don't know if marriage is what she wants now, but she is still single. Even though she's in a relationship, she basically has a boyfriend and she's in her 50s. So that's neither here nor there. But I wanted to let you know that that's what I got from the video. At the beginning of the video, this black woman, she's talking to her girlfriend and she's saying how she's tired of going on dates. She's too old for all these dates. She don't want dates anymore. Casual hookups, casual dating. She wants to be in a long-term committed marriage. She wants to have a husband. She wants to have the matching outfits, matching sets. Like, she wants the dream life that she thinks of when it comes to being married and having a husband. She's tired of just the back and forth, the casual lay, the casual time, hooking up, going out, meeting, and she's done with that. She wants to go into a new phase in her life. And now this woman in the video, I'm not trying to be mean at all, please. I am not trying to be mean. But she looks like she could be in her like mid to late 30s, 40s, early 40s, okay? So I will say that. So that means that she is a woman of a certain age. She's not a spring chicken. So she is a woman who clearly, from what her dialogue is with her friend, that has been around the block and she wants to settle down, okay? All right. So she goes on this date. She's having another date, meeting somebody again, and she goes on a date with T-Pain, who happens to be a nerd. He's like a Steve Urkel, okay? He shows up and takes her to this club. I thought him taking her to a club was funny though, because I'm like, would a nerd really take a girl to a club? I don't know. But he takes her to like a club. He pulls up in this like really small car, and as soon as she sees him, she's turned off just by the car, by his outfit, the way he looks. He's just nerdy, and she's not into that, right? And so he's trying to get to know her. It's a little awkward. It's the typical Steve Urkel type of thing. Nerdy guy, really attracted to a really good looking woman, and it's really no chemistry or spark going on, at least from the woman's side. And she just wants to get out of there. So he's trying to make conversation. They go to the bar. He gets her a drink. And then they play a song that he likes. And then so he starts off on the dance floor, having a really good time. And she is so embarrassed because he's dancing in front of her. And then all of a sudden, all these nerdy dudes in the crowd, it's like nerds were hiding and they were waiting for their chance to, get the spotlight. But they come out of the crowd and they start dancing with T-Pain. And he's just like, yeah, I could be your club husband. I could take care of you. I could do this. I could do that. All of that stuff for, I think you look good. You're beautiful. I could give you the world, basically, is kind of what he's saying. And she is mortified. She's like, you're dancing and you're whack and you have no swag and this is embarrassing. She tries to get away a few times, but eventually what happens is like she starts to like him. She starts to say like, this isn't so bad. Okay. Like she starts to hear what he is saying and she sees him moving, and eventually she ends up getting out on the dance floor and dancing with him. And then at the end, they drive off and that's the end of their night. So she ends up coming around at the end of the day. Now, the reason why this video just made me want to make a video is because I think, again, so many women are missing out. The girl is saying, I don't want to be a casual lay. I don't want to have just casual hookups. I am too old and I'm getting up in age and I want to settle down. And a lot of times the man that is willing and ready to settle down, especially if you're a woman, because there's a lot of women that say, you know, they're upset with men who say negative things about their past. Maybe they were a little promiscuous in high school or in college. Maybe they have kids, you know, already. And there are a lot of men that are saying, I don't want to be I don't want to date a single mother. I don't want to do that. And that's their prerogative. I'm not going to sit here and say that they should. They should not, if that is not what they want. And you wouldn't want anybody that doesn't want to be with a single mom. You wouldn't want that, because now they're with you just to, you know, they're not with you because they care, you know. So don't even deal with anyone that doesn't want to be a single mom if you are in that situation. But what I'm saying is, this woman is saying, like, I want to have a marriage. I want to have a husband. I want the long-term commitment. But the package it came in, T-Pain being a geek, she was not here for it. And she was trying to get out of the date and walk away when he was dancing and everything. She didn't like it, but eventually she came around. And so what I think the message is that, listen, there are a lot of men, despite what a lot of people online are saying, there are still men out there who are willing to marry you and want to be married and are good men. And unfortunately, a lot of women are not marriage minded enough to see that and grab a hold of that. They just aren't, unfortunately, because the man is too awkward, or he doesn't have swag, or he doesn't come in the appearance package or even the finance package that they desire, that they want. We are living in different times. And I think as long as a man has the same values as you, those should be your non-negotiables. Values. He has to have good character, have good values, you know, and out of that can form a relationship. Everything else can be learned, and that's a journey of life. Everything isn't going to be perfect. And so that's what I took from the video, is that there's so many women that are lonely and single, not because they can't get married, not because there aren't good men. You're just not looking at the good man because he doesn't come in the package that you want. He doesn't come like the romance novel guy that you've been drooling over since high school. He doesn't come like, you know, the hottest singer or the hottest actor. He doesn't come in that package. You don't want someone that looks average, etc., whatever the case is. Or maybe he's not making, maybe he works at an Amazon warehouse. Maybe he's the manager of the warehouse, or maybe he's a worker there that's not a manager, but he's a hard worker, and that's not appealing to you. Okay, I remember reacting or seeing a video where this woman was like, I would not date a Walmart manager, even if he was the manager of the store. I wouldn't date him because basically she had a nice job and she didn't want to tell her girlfriends and to judge her. And that's a problem. The fear of man. Your girlfriends who are single probably and who will stay single, you want to miss out on a great guy because you don't want them to say anything. The man has a job. The man is working. The man has good skills, clearly, because he's not just a regular employee. He's managing stores, and that's still not enough for you. That is what I'm trying to say, and that's what I think T-Pain was secretly trying to say. Maybe not. Maybe he had no agenda. But I definitely felt like it was just like, come on. There are many good men out there that are willing to marry you. And for the women who've had a shaky past, there are many average regular dudes who would take you with your shaky past, but you just don't want them because they don't look good to you. You have a shaky past, and then you want the top guy, the 1% guy who's 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 everything, and is perfect to look your way. And a lot of times they're not going to do that because they have the pick of the litter. It's a lot of women looking for them, and they'd rather be with a young woman who has no baggage, who has no child, who has no crazy past. And that is something that is very hard for a lot of women, especially older women who are not married, to hear, because no one is telling us the truth. No one has taught us about how we should have been married at an early age, how we should have prioritized marriage at an early age. We're prioritizing career, education, goals, all this other stuff, but we never prioritize marriage. So then when we hear the truth, it sounds like hate, and it's not. It's just biology. It's just the truth, right? The Bible says that the man should be rejoicing in the wife of his youth. That means He got married at a young age, okay? And this is Middle Eastern time. They got married at young ages back then. So rejoicing in the wife of your youth. So getting married young and staying with that man and being with that man, that was normal culturally, and that's normal biblically, but that's not normal in modern times. And we have to reject modern times. We have to reject modern times view of marriage and all that stuff, because it doesn't work. What I'm saying is, don't let your type keep you from getting married. Don't let your unrealistic expectations and standards stop you from being married. I've talked about this in ad nauseum at this point so many times. I made a video about this on the channel before. I posted on a community page. It's because I really want us to stop. We really have to stop. There are really good, capable men out there, and you're just not looking at them because you don't want to. A lot of y'all got to stop acting shocked why you aren't married. You feel like you yourself are a good catch, and you feel like you desire marriage. But are you really truly not just putting yourself out there, but are you really truly opening your mind to receiving a regular, everyday, average guy who may have the qualities that you desire? Or are you just so stuck on, well, he has to be like this guy I dated in the past because for whatever, I want this quality in him because that's what I liked about that guy. Or, you're letting movies and books and all this stuff make you feel like this is what you need. And God is always going to give you opposite a lot of time of what you think you want. He'll give you what you need. Not saying that he'll give you someone you're not attracted to. I'm not saying you need to be with someone that's not attractive or anything. Can he be decent? I remember Jay from J2 Connect. He said, is he decently attractive? Can he be decently attractive? And of course, you know about oxytocin. I've mentioned that ad nauseum as well on this channel. He's going to be attracted to you anyways after you have sex with him. So give the man a chance. Wait till marriage to have sex. T-Pain may not even had that on his mind. What I'm thinking, art sometimes a lot of times provide lessons. The lesson is here is like, let go of your crazy list. Rip it up. I remember Pastor Mac Todd used to say that when he was promoting his book, Relationship Goals. Rip up your list. You have this list and you're single year after year after year. No one has met that list. No one. There's billions of people out in this world, and not one person is good enough for what you desire on your so-called list. Then maybe that list is ungodly. Maybe that list is made up from foolishness. Okay? And I also want to put some stats in this video because this is Proverbs 31 University. So I hope I'm also teaching. I found two different researchers that said, and I mentioned one of these researchers in a previous video. There was a survey done by couple.net, and they had a survey that said that a majority of married couples, so a majority of people who are married, did not think that their spouse was their type, quote unquote type, when they first met or when they started dating. A majority. So all of this fall in love at first sight. I want him to love me immediately. I want him to be attracted to me immediately. I want to love him and be attracted to him immediately. Yeah, that happens in books for the most part. Not to say it doesn't happen, but it's very, very rare. Another piece of research, and this is the one I mentioned before, is that we have to let go of this whole stuff about I need spark, I need chemistry. And that's usually a female thing that a lot of women say. I need the chemistry. I don't feel the spark. There's no connection. Just foolishness. Well, this research says that the majority of married couples say that they did not feel any chemistry or have instant spark or connection with their spouse when they first met or started dating. Okay? Actually, research says that couples who have a gradual connection, meaning it's a slow connection. Maybe they were friends before, or maybe once they started dating, he might not have been perfect, and you weren't sure about each other, but you kept going and you kept giving it a chance, and you were like, you know what? There's something about this guy that I like, so I'm not going to let the color of his socks stop me from dating him or getting to know him. I'm not going to let something minor, okay, stop me. He seems respectful. Let me keep going. Let me see. Because you're letting spark, you're letting connection, you're letting all that cloud your logic. That's why I say having sex before marriage isn't good, because that oxytocin, that hormone, that love bonding hormone, now has given you rose-colored glasses, and that person is perfect in your mind, and you can't think or literally see the flaws that that person has. And so that's what happens when you're allowing chemistry. Oh, we finished each other's sentences. Oh, we just connect. It's just a feeling. We have to stop with these emotional things. Okay, that is not the only determinant. Of course, you should feel secure. You should feel safe. You should feel at rest with this person. But just because you might be awkward, maybe maybe he's a little awkward. Maybe you're a little awkward. Maybe it's a little silent. Doesn't mean you should just turn away. Maybe that person was nervous. Maybe there was anxiety there. Dating is not easy for everybody. Not everybody is just a professional dater and knows what to say. And, especially nowadays, you definitely have to give people a chance, because so many people were raised on the internet in their homes. They're basically recluses, isolated. People, because of internet culture, prefer their online communities than going out and talking to people. So when you have a date with somebody that's in Gen Z or in the tail end of the millennials, they might be a little awkward socially. They may be different, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not your husband. That doesn't mean that they're not a good candidate just because y'all didn't have enough talking. Give the person a chance. You know what? It might not have been as long as he's not being disrespectful to you, and you find out that actually we do have the same values, and that matters, should be the number one thing that matters to you, right? And everything else can fall as long as we have the same values, and I'm getting to know him as a person. He seems to have good character. So don't just be turned off. Don't dismiss a good guy just because he comes in a package that you weren't ready for or that you're not really into, right? Because you may grow to like him, and he may be who God has for you. Because clearly having a type isn't working. You're still single. You haven't found that guy yet. So maybe you should give this person that may not be your type a chance and see what happens. There is no problem in seeing what happens. Do you have the same values? Is he respectful? Is he, taking the initiative to get to know you, and is he kind? Is he caring? There's so much more to look into instead of, oh, well, the conversation just didn't flow. We didn't connect. We don't seem to have that much in common. It's so superficial. And especially if you're a certain age, which was the woman in the video she was a certain age, and she's saying, I'm tired of these hookups. And I'm like, yeah, ma'am, you don't have all this time to be so picky, right? I just think so many people would be married by now if they just got rid of that darn list that they have. Because guess what? You're not going to always be a size 0. You're not always going to be a size 2. You're not always going to be perfect. Your skin is not going to always be flawless. Your hair is not going to always be flawless. Your breath is not always going to smell good. You're not going to always be on your best behavior. You have to be with someone that you feel secure with when you're in your worst moments. When you're walking around in a diaper after giving birth because you're bleeding, because you just gave birth, you got to be comfortable knowing that you're with someone that has character, that doesn't see you any different, that's not making fun of you or is holding it against you because you're not in your best physical state at that moment. I mean, there's so many things that go into marriage and a relationship that it's all the superficial stuff from media and just bitter people. It just doesn't matter in the long run. So I just wanted to just give my 2 cents. I enjoyed that video. I thought it was so cute. And I just think a lot of women have to understand that you could be married by now, but it's you that are getting in the way. I can guarantee you there's probably a guy around you right now that's interested in you, and you may even know that he's interested, but you're not giving him the time of day because he doesn't come in the package that you care for. I feel like God, the Bible says God will use the foolish things to confound the wise. God can use somebody that is exactly what you need to come in a different package, and you think that's not who I'm supposed to be with. And then when you give that person a chance, you'll be surprised. This person treats you well. This person does well by you. And you really just got to figure out, and this is why it's important to know who you are in Christ, because you really got to figure out what is important to you. What is important to you? And think about the past relationships you had. It is immature to judge someone because they're just simply socially awkward. It's just immature. Stop expecting perfection when you're not perfect. You want grace. You want all the grace, all the mercy, all the forgiveness from God in the world, but you can't extend that to someone else. And I'm not saying give someone a chance who is disrespectful, rude. Don't be with someone that you just find repulsive. That's not right to that person, right? But what I'm saying is, I've seen so many different types of couples out there. There's so many different odd couples. I mentioned that before in a previous video as well. Don't miss out on your blessing thinking that the person has to come in a perfect package.